start our program with the pouring of a libation. During the pouring of a libation, you're going to find out a wonderful thing. That the energy in this room is going to rise because you're going to bring the energy. The pouring of a libation is a ritual process that brings in the ancestors into our present. Each of you have ancestors. Each of you have spiritual power. First of all, we will also say Ashe. That is somewhat like saying amen. Let it be. So it is. After I say Ashe, then you'll say Ashe. But the very first thing we need to do is to give honor and glory to the Creator. The Creator is called by many different names, but each of us has a way of giving homage to the Creator. Without the Creator, we wouldn't have the energy. The energy in you is just a little spark of what came from the Creator. So whatever your belief system is, however you call on your Creator, as Father, as Brother, whatever you say right now, bring and honor the Creator by calling His or her name right now. Lord.
Amen. Jesus.
Let me hear you. Call the Creator's name.
Lord of Lord, King of Kings, Yahweh, Jah.
Okay, and for the great Creator, we all say Ashe.
Ashe.
We start by also giving remembrance to the things that we are so grateful and so thankful for. We're grateful and thankful for people we don't even know their names. People who were brought to this country. People, some of them, who chose a watery grave in the Atlantic for those unknown ancestors, those who were taken from us, but whose spirit is still with us, whose courage is what we talk about in our stories. For your unknown ancestors, just remember and say, Ashe.
Ashe.
We pour and we think and we remember those in our families, those who thought about us, those who prayed for us, those who poured into us, those who held sacred places within their hearts. Did you know you have a sacred place in your heart? Yes. You hold that place for those you love. You hold that place for community, for family. And this is a part of our community family. For the space you hold, for the elders that you knew, and for grandma, grandpa, call their names because we want them to fill this room with their spirit. Call the names of those that you have a sacred place for in your heart. See their smiles, feel their warmth, feel their presence. See them and call their names. For the sacred ones, keep going. If you have more, keep going. They go on and on, but the spirits need to know that they're welcome here. Because if you don't call the spirit won't come. It will never knock you down. Spirit comes when you yield to it, when you give love to it, when you give honor and you give respect. So you call the names of those, and so I pour libation for those we hold sacred in our hearts. For those who are the creators of song, of dance, of stories, those who have a vision, the visionaries who see. They see more than what's just here. They see into the future. Call the name of your favorite author. Call the name of your favorite. Call Call the name of your favorite dancer. Call the name of your favorite singer. For all the creative spirit. Josephine, bring it into the room. See them. We need to give thanks for them now. For all the creative spirits. Arthur Miller, we pour libation and say, Ashe. But we can create too. We can create because on our shoulders, as we stand here, stand communities, stand young people, stand some who are yet to come. Today, as you become a part of the storytelling event, you become a part of a process. You are creating right now a part of your ancestry legacy. Legacy is what you want to leave. So that someday, someone will call your name as a sacred ancestor. Think about what you want to live. Think about interacting with us as storytellers. Think about right now, we're creating an ancestry legacy as we tell our stories, as we hold a space, another space, a different space for those who are to come, because we have hope, we have love, we have unity for the future. And for those who are yet to come, we hold that space and we say, Ashe. It is done, libation is poured, the room is filled, and we will proceed. Thank you so very much.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. I'm trying to get a little direction here. But as Alice said, your spirit fills the room. And as a former Board of Ed person, I'd like to hear your playground voice say, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're here. Now you came out of the rain and you struggled to get here. Who's here for the very first time for our shape storytelling? Give them a round of applause. Yes, make some noise for loud. Some people traveled from the north side. Some came from the far south side. Some came from around the corner. Now me, I traveled far from the north side, in the rain. And once I got inside the building, the sun was shining in this room. And I felt a little bit of joy. You see, we're here to celebrate. We're here to tell stories and to hear stories. So let your energy fill the room with all this energy and love. So our first person, if you give me a minute to get situated here. Well, I want to say this. Each storyteller brings their own unique style of telling. They have their own personality, their own voice. Some will tell a story and add a little bit of poetry. Some will tell a story and perhaps sing a song. But we're gathered in this space, and we're here to rejoice and enjoy. Now, our first storyteller, Velma Gladney, is co-founder of our SHADE, Chicago Association of Black Storytellers. She is the co-founder, and she is an early childhood educator. Velma uses her storytelling gift to help young people develop strong imagination, self-esteem, character, and appreciate the written and spoken word. Her strong voice delivers powerful stories to all audiences of all ages. So Velma is telling Amazing Grace. Please welcome Velma Gladney.
Amazing Grace. Huge waves came over an old slave ship in a violent storm off the coast of Newfoundland. The winds tore the mast and put them into the swelling sea. The old captain spoke out and said, "Get the water out, get the water out this ship. Keep pumping, keep pumping, keep pumping." The holds of that ship didn't have captives in it. They had been traded off in Jamaica, and the holds was filled with rum and sugar and coffee. But you know, that ship was on the verge of sinking. And there was an old rogue on that ship named John Newton. And as John Newton cursed the waves and wondered what was going on, his mind went back to his childhood as he struggled, trying to save his life. He could hear his mother reading the Bible. And he could also hear his mother praying. And guess what? Old John started praying. He began to try to pray his way out. And as he walked off of that ship, he wondered what was it that was able to save him. He began to think maybe it was those prayers that saved his life. His whole life took a dramatic change when he walked off that ship that day and was saved. He began to go back and remember. He remembered being a young sailor running from ship to ship out there, and on a drunken spree one night, a policeman captured him and put him in the army, but John was a whole lot of trouble, always getting into trouble. So finally, he was sold to a slave ship captain. And on that slave ship, he remembered the nauseous scent. He remembered that those bodies were packed in that ship so tightly until they could hardly move. But John thought about all of these things as he went along, and as he walked off that ship on the coast of Ireland, and his mind went back and he began to wonder, what was it that caused him to be saved? He remembered It must have been prayer that saved me. I must have a spark of faith. As he thought about it, his mentoring mind went back and he thought and he thought. And shortly after, John came into having his own slave ship. And guess what? He thought he would extend that newfound grace. He allowed his captives to have a little bit more space. He instituted prayer on that ship, and he allowed them to pray on Sunday morning. And he began to brag about he never lost anybody from sickness and from suicide. He thought that newfound grace that he extended. But you know what, as John went on, his cold heart began to thaw. His blindness to the scourge of slavery began to be lifted. And he looked at those captives in those close quarters with hardly fresh air. And he thought, what am I doing? What am I doing? And the horror, the shock came over him. An intense humiliation came over John, just like the waves of the sea. And he said to those on his crew, turn the ship around. And John's new crew turned that ship around, and he freed those Africans, and his whole life took another turn. He began to be a staunch abolitionist. He became a minister, and he went about trying to get rid of that horror, the horrors of slavery. And John wrote a song that we are all so familiar with. It was his amazing grace that he extended. He wrote that song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Amazing grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Velma Gladney, y'all. Give her another hand. Now, if I was a preacher standing at the pulpit, I would say somebody here knows about amazing grace. Somebody here has been through troubled water. Somebody here has been maybe through sickness. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that took care of all of us, that covered us and brought us thus far. Our next speaker, storyteller, Dhamana Shauri, enjoys telling stories about real life and real people. Her work as a Chicago public school teacher and social worker gives her a wealth of experience to draw on. Her goal is to make all that listen hear and see the story
as she entertains, educates, and uplifts. Her story, First Days. Please welcome Dhamana.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Now, when I say I love school, I really love school. I was one of those kids who was ready to go back after summer vacation of 2 or 3 weeks. Who really needs 2 months out of school? Not me. It's not as though we need to go out and work on the farm or anything. So I used to cross the days off the calendar, literally, thinking that would hurry up and speed the first day of school. And the first day of school was a huge deal. You had to have a new outfit, at least one for the first day. You had to come and bring your best and put your best foot forward. You had to set a good impression for your friends after the summer. But perhaps even more important than your outfit was your school supplies. You needed new school supplies. It did not matter what you had left over from last June. You needed new stuff for the new year. Pens, pencils, notebooks, folders, and maybe the most important was crayons. And what kind of crayons did we want? Crayola, nothing but. You did not want Pentax or some generic brand or a store brand, because those were waxy and they messed up your picture. You needed Crayola brand crayons. And even if you had Crayolas, you didn't want that little 8-color box, right? Because that was not cool at all. You at least wanted the 16 or the 24, but what you really wanted was the 32 or the 48. And you knew your parents really loved you if they bought that 64 box, right? That's right. Because not only did it have every color known to humankind, it also came with a built-in sharpener. Yes. You were almost a celebrity when you brought that 64 box back to school. Because not only did everybody want to use all your cool colors, they also wanted to sharpen their crayons to keep them at a nice, crisp point. So you put your crayons and all your school supplies in your brand new book bag, and you were ready for the first day of school. Now, my first day as a student that stands out the most was 5th grade. First of all, we were thrilled to be in Mr. Frank Thompson's class because he was so cute. So the first day, all the girls sat and talked about how cute Mr. Thompson was. Now back then in Chicago, the first day was a half day. We only went in the morning to give teachers that afternoon to get their classrooms ready, pass out books, get bulletin boards and all of that. And so not much work was done. You had the obligatory, what I did during my summer vacation. But by the time you were in 5th or 6th grade, you knew you could write that essay at home. Bring it with you, and then while the other students were doing it, you could talk and mess around with your friends, right? So that day, Mr. Thompson, we did the essay, everyone read their essay. Then he passed out the welcome back to school letter that we were supposed to take to our parents. And he decided to round out the morning with an impromptu spelling bee. Now, I had always been an excellent speller, and I figured, hey, I could win this first bee of the year as well as anybody else. So, spelling bee was going just fine. We had 4 or 5 rounds. Then it was my turn again, and I stepped up ever so confident. My word was 40. 40. F-O-U-R-T-Y. 40. Mr. Thompson said, no, I'm sorry, but you have one more chance. I couldn't believe it. I knew how to spell 40. Maybe I had mixed up the letters a little bit. So I stepped up again, still as confident. 40. F-O-U-R-T-Y. I could tell by the look on his face I had spelled the word incorrectly again. And was I devastated? He said, no, I'm sorry. 40 is F-O-R-T-Y. I went to my seat fighting not to let those tears drop because I did not want them to see me cry. I sat at my desk and the spelling bee went on, but I don't think I heard one more word. I couldn't wait to get out of that school. So glad it was only a half day. So 12 o'clock finally rolled around. We were standing at the bottom of the stairs near the exit door, waiting for Mr. Thompson's direction to go out. I couldn't wait to get out of that door. And then he called down, "Dhamana, can I see you for a moment?" I couldn't believe it. Didn't he know I wanted to get out of this building? I didn't want to be there one more second than I had to. So I trudged up the stairs, wondering what on earth he had to say. When I got to the top, I looked up at him and he said, "I just wanted to tell you, you have beautiful dimples." Well, my day completely turned around. And I was on cloud 35, because cloud 9 simply does not do it justice. I think I glided down the stairs, and I was probably still gliding when I got home, and ran up the steps to tell my mother what Mr. Thompson had said. 5th grade got started with a bang. I had always loved school so much, so of course teaching was on my very short list of possible careers. And nursing was there also. They both were a toss-up. Then one of my high school classmates became a candy striper at a local school, at a local hospital. Until then, I had thought nurses walked around in their very cute white uniforms with their little cute hat, fluffing pillows, bringing flowers, and passing out little cups with pills in them. But when she came back to school telling us the icky kind of stuff nurses really had to do, the decision was made. Nursing was out and teaching was in. I majored in elementary education and got a job with the Chicago public school system. And I loved it, truly loved it. My most memorable day, first day as a teacher, was later on, a little bit later on in my career. I had been teaching maybe 5 or 6 years. And I was generally the 5th grade teacher. But that year, the 6th grade teacher had decided to transfer. So I went down to the principal and asked her if I could just move up with that class and keep them for 6th grade. And she said, fine. So when we got back to school that fall, I knew just about everybody in my classroom. So one of my students came over and told me that a student I called John had a strong body odor, and it was bothering some of the classmates. So I knew John had had it from last year, so I took him in the hallway, and I said, "John, why didn't you wash up this morning? You knew you were coming to school." His eyes welled with tears, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he told me that his parents had gone out of town for a funeral, and he and his siblings were staying with an aunt whose gas had been shut off. So there was no hot water and no stove to heat water. I felt terrible. I gave him a hug, and I sent him to the bathroom to get himself together. I stepped into my classroom and I told them that John needed their help and their friendship that day. And they understood exactly what I meant. I stepped back out ready for John to come back. And I knew I had dropped the ball with that. I had criticized him for being irresponsible, but what the real situation was that he simply didn't have the basics to take care of his needs. He came back and I gave him another hug and told him to go on in the classroom and it would be okay. We made arrangements for John to come to school earlier than in time that he was supposed to come and wash up and get himself ready for the year. I thought about that day with that 5th grade spelling bee when Mr. Thompson called me back upstairs. And I think that I was able to do that for John that day. I gave Mr. Thompson a silent prayer of thanks. We went back into the classroom, and from all appearances, John's day went fine for the rest of the time. Now, I really enjoy being a teacher. Cannot imagine doing anything else with my life. I decided to retire, though. The time came. And I had a ball of mixed emotions. I knew I was ready to go, but I knew I'd also missed so much of it. I have been blessed to have siblings, 2 and 3 siblings from the same family. I got to know them as well as their families. And I am so thankful. I am still in touch with some of those children that I had in 5th grade who are now into their 30s and approaching 40. It was a gift. Perhaps my most poignant first day was the first day of school after I retired. Like I said, I have really had mixed emotions Was thinking about going back, but didn't think about it that much. On that first day, I actually stood in the window watching the children go to school. I was shaken out of my reverie by the phone ringing. It was a friend of mine who knew me very well. She said, "I know what you're doing, so get out the window. Put your clothes on. I'll be over to get you soon." So she came over, we went for a walk on the lakefront, and we went out to breakfast. And that first day tradition served me as well as any of the others. And I loved teaching, and everywhere I go, I take Crayola crayons with me. Thank
you. Storytellers have their own unique style of telling. How they tell, how they feel when they tell. And you're on a journey, so relax. At this particular time, you're in for a treat. Ramblin rolls and 290 Ramblers. We're going to wait for them as they prepare to come and be our entertainment for the evening. Now, I stand in awe of storytellers. Some will make you laugh and smile all day. Others will make you stop and wipe a tear away. I stand in awe of storytellers. I listen and I travel to many places. Some I haven't seen as yet. Witness glorious sunrises and golden sunsets. I stand in awe of storytellers. I'm just ad-libbing until our band gets in place. I'm not telling you what we keep I'm just kind of, are they in the room? Okay, on the way. That day we were out playing in the fields, and out of nowhere they came, kicking us and beating us and dragging us. They placed us in the bottom of a used ship, one by one by one. And I never ever saw my mother, my father, or my sister again. I stand in awe of storytellers. I was there when Brother Rabbit went running down that road. I saw the princess kiss the toad, ran from that purple giant with his long, snotty nose. I stand in awe of storytellers. Are you ready, Benny?
Ready.
Yeah, ready. That's part of my original poem, you all. They have an extended vinyl in your program, so you can look at it, and maybe you can follow them later on. We love the blues, and they have encouraged you to sing along with them. If you feel like moving, if you want to holler out, you can do that too. Give them a hand, a round of applause. Ramblin' Road and the 290 Ramblers.
All the fellas out there say, "Oh yeah." You know, like you watch the game. All the ladies out there say, "Hey, hey, hey, hey." Hey, hey, hey. All right. You know, this song was written, bring it down a little, y'all. This song was written by a husband and a wife, and they liked to play. They were very playful. So he was a jazz trumpet player, trombone player, She was a jazz pianist, and she wrote him a little note. She said, baby, meet me with your black drawers on. And that's how they came about with that song. If you know it, sing it with me. Hey, baby, meet me with your black drawers on. I said,